Good morning and happy December, folks. What is it today? It is December 17th. It's a Tuesday morning. I'm Melissa Schwartz, the managing broker of Realty One Group here in Paradise Valley. And today we are going to be talking about our sphere of influence. Let me go ahead and share my screen to my slide deck here, hoping that that will work. There we go. Share that. And go ahead and, oops, where'd that go? Over there. All right, sphere of influence, SOI, if you've never heard that term. And let's see what I can help guide you on this subject matter. For those, I know I have you guys kind of blocked out online, but if you could unmute and just give me an idea of how many of you currently use a sphere of influence, and then I'll ask the people here in the room as well. How many online? I know I've got 5 or 6 of you online. Can you open your mic? And I can't.
This is Pat Ford. I definitely do.
Okay, and do you use an actual CRM or just a spreadsheet?
Oh no, I use the Realty One.
Awesome. Sync. Okay, or used to be called Sync. Anybody else online? I know I got more of you there. Okay. How about you guys here? Are you using a CRM? Not enough. Nope, not enough. All right, let's get going then. Let's try. So I'm going to give you a cautionary comment here. I have a ton of data here. So the point is, I need you to take a few takeaways from this and just start using it. I have a lot of options here because there are lots of different ways you can work with your sphere of influence and or a CRM. So a sphere of influence adds to a CRM. Does anybody actually know? Well, we'll get to that in a second. So leveraging your CRM for real estate success, it's there for you. We want you to work to connect with your clients. Does anybody know what CRM stands for? Giving you a cheat sheet.
Critical report management.
No, if you look at the little jigsaw puzzle, it'll give it to you right there. Okay, no, it's on the picture there.
Support relationship.
Customer relationship management. Okay, sphere of influence, SOI, includes your past clients, your prospects, your referral partners, and your personal contacts. So a lot of people just think it means like your friends and family only, and it's not. It's everyone that you have reached out to, worked with, collaborated with, that knows you. If you are just beginning in real estate, it is the people that already trust you. That is where you want to start, right? So CRM helps organize and manage that sphere efficiently. Now, you don't have to use an official CRM. I will show you a little version of it that you can use to just get started, and then you can transfer it over to the CRM that we give you for free as a part of Realty One Group. But it can be a tool to track leads, follow up, and nurture relationships. So the idea is to turn those relationships into repeat business and referrals. All right. So one of the challenges is trying to figure out how to classify or coordinate to facilitate working with your contact list so you can actually do targeted marketing. Now, this is one example of, your calendar notes, your database. There are lots of different systems that are out there. So I'm in the way over here. Using tags and categories to segment your sphere of influence. Now, if you were to do a chat GPT and ask about sphere of influence, if you do not narrow that to real estate, trust me, you will get a gazillion things that have nothing to do with real estate. So please understand you want to focus into real estate. So things that we often use are our buyers, our sellers, our past clients, Yes, maybe investors, maybe non-investors, but things that we are unique to real estate. So you can also segment by location, property type, or lead status, hot, warm, cold. If those of you are buying leads, you're gonna have to have some category for those leads that are coming in, right? Because they're not your normal sphere. You need to have a way that you're tracking them so you're not just getting lost in a bunch of names and emails and phone numbers, okay? Tailor your communication based on those group preferences, perhaps. So first-time home buyers, and I can't read the experienced investors, right? Let's say you do short-term rentals. Those would be a separate category. You need to be able to track that category. Now, database. Let's start with collecting the key data. Now, this is where I will tell you, you can work to set up a simplified database and take this information to use several different ways. Let's start with your basic contact information. I'm not going to go line by line here, folks. Full name, maybe a nickname. Now, personally, with a full name, I always separate first and last names. Does anybody online know why I separate first and last names? If you think about a spreadsheet, why I would have two separate columns? Does anybody know?
Searching,
What? Searching? Why
you search
would
that.
I need that?
Because sometimes I remember Marilyn's first name, but I can't remember her last name. Sometimes I
Well-
want a male, so I go by last name.
And if you're searching by last name and you don't have them separated, guess what you can't search by? The last name, right?
Wow.
So if you have two columns, you can work, if you're in Excel or Google Sheets, you can create a third column with those joined together. You don't have to retype, folks. You can, there's a little formatting function that'll allow you to merge two cells together and you can create a merged cell. Now, nickname, if you want to do that, that's fine. If you tend to see that a lot of people you interact with have a nickname, that's fine. If you don't put that on there. It doesn't matter, right? The key things that matter are the name, the phone number, an email address, and yes, a mailing address. Why is a mailing address important on your database?
All kinds of.
Thank you cards, mailing holiday cards, mailing a calendar, finding out to be able to check to see if they've got equity in their home and doing a hey, do you want a valuation of your property? If you don't know where they live, how are you going to do that, right? So you need their mailing address. This is the one that I think is the hardest, especially for our younger generation. They're like, I don't know what their address is, right? It's like, well, now's when you need to start doing that, right? And what a perfect time of year. You can go to your phone and say, hey, want to send out a holiday card? I don't seem to have your address. Could you please give it to me? Guess what people will do? They'll give you their address, right? And if you don't get it done in the next 2 weeks, guess what you can say? Sending out a New Year's card, didn't want to leave you out. Can I get your address? So many things this time of year you can use, and people will gladly give that to you, right? It's unbelievable. Oh, yeah, sure. Let me give you your address. Now, in June, you say, hey, can I get your address? Why? What do you want my address for? Like, no, don't do that, right? So this is the time to reach out. I don't know how many people you have in your phones, but basically you could go to your phone, take this information, you can download that. Doesn't matter if you're an Android or iPhone, you can download that information from your phone book, right? Your phone has a phone book attached to it. Download that information and get started with creating this. And again, in the next 3 weeks, reach out and say, I want to send a card to you. Now, I have added social media contact information. I think this is critical in the coming years. You need to have people's either LinkedIn, Facebook, X, Instagram account information. How many of you use social media regularly? And I don't care which one. Couple, got to hear a couple of hands up. How about online? People online, why don't you shout out any of these that you use regularly? So once or twice a week, you're at least going on to those social media platforms. Anybody?
Just Facebook and daily, at least daily.
Okay, who else? I got people chatting with me, guys. I don't have
Every
them.
single one of them.
Every single one of them. That's got to be Jan.
Yeah,
That's Jan. Okay. All right. So, preferred method of contact. Now, you don't have to do this, but I think it is an advisable column to have just a little bit for information about your client. How do they prefer to be contacted? Okay. How many of you, when you meet a new client, do you have an intake form for them? Okay, I've got one hand up here. Anybody online? Yeses, just say
Yes.
yes. One. Okay. I would say, especially with what we're doing with having to do the new buyer broker agreement, when you're talking to somebody over the phone, you should have an intake form. I'm old school. I prefer that actually to be written out, but you can go to Google Forms. You can create it on Google Forms and send it to people. And basically the stuff you have here would be the ideal things to have as that top of that contact form, right? The intake form. If they're a buyer, you're going to ask other questions. If they're a seller, you're going to ask different questions at the bottom of it. Like one of those things for both of them is going to be, how soon are you ready to start this process, right? A buyer, have you pre-qualified? If so, who's your lender, right? If not, then you know you need to direct them to somebody. But let's get back. This is the key database information. If you get nothing more today than this information out of this class, keep this, okay? And again, you can get a printout of all of this. We will email it to you so you have it. And then you can work from there. Now, next is some useful information to get to know, who you're working with, and that's some demographic information, right? So why would we maybe want some of this information for our database? Anybody, you guys online, just unmute and share. I have you blocked just so you're not recorded, but we can hear your voice.
Happy birthday card.
Birthday cards, anniversary cards, kids' birthdays, right? If it's family oriented, if you're doing a lot of family business and working with people with kids, how happy are they when you send them a note saying, hey, you know, happy birthday to your daughter, da 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 da, right? I mean, it just allows you opportunities to connect. Now, you don't have to mail a card, but this is where you work with your social media, your Facebook, your Instagram. Now, I wouldn't be doing Instagram if it's the family member, but if it's them, that's awesome. Facebook's probably the place if you're doing family member. LinkedIn is great for work anniversaries. If you know somebody, if you're connected with somebody on LinkedIn, you better be watching for those work anniversaries. You'll get notified of them. Jump on and say, hey, congratulations. It's a touch point that they know you are watching them and just excited for them as they hit these different, you know, anniversary dates or successes with their businesses, right? So just a couple of different things. On the bottom there, gender. So I don't know how many of you have worked with transgendered buyers. That is a community unto its own. If you've ever dealt with that, it is very you have to be very delicate. If it's not something you want to work with, that's fine. If it is, I encourage you to make sure you understand some of the ups and downs and challenges when somebody has changed their name one place, but possibly not every place. So if their driver's license has not been changed, their social security has not been changed, when they purchase, guess what? Their name may be something totally different than what you are working with. And it's a very delicate balance because they're not necessarily comfortable with that, but that's how they have to purchase the property. So please be aware that if that is going to be a community you're working with, consider making sure you are being gentle and delicate with that matter. Otherwise, that will not be a clientele you will be able to work with again.
Melissa,
Yes.
shouldn't you check with the title company first and ask them how they want to close with the individual's name
Oh, no, no, no. You're talking to the client directly.
directly?
You
Okay,
are
so
asking that client, when you first meet with them, you need to ask, what is your legal name currently?
that
And
follows legal documentation such as a driver's license, correct?
yes.
Okay, then that's what we should go off of, their legal documents.
No, you need to ask them. It's a conversation with the individual. and they may be in the process of changing it. So you need to ask them, you know, are they changing it before this purchase will be finalized? I mean, you have to have a
gotcha.
conversation with them about it.
All right.
And ask them how they prefer to be addressed so that you know. And I've done multiple of these, and in one case everything had been changed, in the other it was not. And I said, I will do my best to communicate using your your name now, but understand that the documentation I'm sending you is going to have the other name on it. I can't change that. They were totally aware of that, but I wanted to be courteous to them and made sure that I had that conversation with them. They know it's going to happen. They're aware of it, but it's how you handle it that makes all the difference to your client. Okay, so here are some meaningful categories. So there are two things here. I'm going to show you some meaningful categories. Then I'm going to switch to how I think most people will set this up. But this is one option. And if you get the printout, you actually have a little more information on this. I didn't finish that bottom slide. You'll see industry professionals, and I just chopped it off. So you can do categories based on past clients, right? Whether that's buyers, sellers, short-term rentals, renters, investors. I mean, you can add more things here depending on who your client base is, right? Obviously, this is from an agent that has done business, right? But once you start working, you need to have that past client list. Prospective clients, this is where most people are looking for, right? They want to go for who's coming down the road. But trust me, folks, you've got to, once you start working with people, you've got to stay in touch with that past client list. Don't lose sight of that. You've got to have that there. But your prospective clients, leads, hot leads, warm leads, cold leads, follow-up later leads, right? So you've got to be able to categorize them in ways that you know who to go back to and how often you need to go back to them. And you can do color coding to try and make sure you're staying on top of this. Now, I'm going to jump to a different category here in just a second, but I want to go over this because of this referral sources. So a couple of you have heard me use the phrase golden goose. I'm not real enamored with that phrase, but I think it is such a critical part of doing business. And I once was in a training with this guy, and you've probably heard me tell this story. But this guy had cornered the market. He was in a neighborhood area or a community, and he did open houses. He did a ton of business here, and he door knocked. He did everything in this area. And one of the things he explained was he door knocked, and one day he knocked on this door. This was not in Arizona, but another place with hot, real desert community. Knocked on the door. It was hot outside. He was in a full suit. I don't know why, but he was in a full suit. At any rate, nice old lady answers the door, invites him in for a cup of coffee. And she wasn't going to move anytime soon, folks. This was the home she was going to stay in. But what did he do? He went in for that cup of coffee. And you know what? He had coffee with her probably every month for years. And do you know what? She brought him more business than anyone else he talked to. Why? Because she was the neighborhood communicator. She knew everything about everybody, right? And everybody talked to her. She was the one that was, kind of the billboard, right? Had he walked past and said, no, thank you very much, I got to keep knocking, you're never going to buy or sell from me, I'll see you later, right? Biggest mistake, folks. You need to find who those people are that really have the ability to connect with other people. Now, often to new agents, I tell new agents, do you have an aunt? Do you have a brother or an uncle or your parents? Do you have an old business partner or somebody that you used to work with, somebody that knows and trusts you? Those are the people that are going to be your golden goose. And we often pass them by because they think they're not going to buy anything. They're in their home. They've got kids that are going to be in school for another 7 years. They're not moving, right? And we pass them over. Please, folks, understand you need to think about people that aren't ready to buy or sell right now, because they may be the people that are absolutely going to shout your name from the top of the mountain, right? So please don't forget about that. And I'm going to show you this in just a second as for more on terms of how that works. Strategic partners, right? Who are people that could refer you to other business? We introduce you to lenders and home inspectors, contractors, attorneys, planners. How are you going to create your own relationship with them? Yes, other agents. Now, this is not to mean the people across the table here, although that is really important for you to know other agents here in our office. But what about agents across town? Do you not want to work in the East Valley? Do you want to primarily be in this North Scottsdale area? You don't want to go to Goodyear? You know what? Find out when a Goodyear meeting is going on. Let's get you to go over to Leah's office and say hello and say, hey, I'm from the PV office. Excuse me. I'm from the PV office and I just want to meet a couple of agents here. Guess who's going to swarm around you? Everybody, right? Who wants to take your business that you can partner if they don't want to come in here but want to work there? Then what about around the country? How many of you are from someplace other than Arizona? Now, I was born and raised here, but if you're from someplace else, like who do you know in another state? Do you have family in another state? Really? If you have family in another state and you're going to go visit them for the holidays here, guess what you need to do before you plan that trip? Any guesses? Where's a Realty One Group office over there? Call the Realty One Group office first before you schedule that plane trip, because you know what? That trip is now a business trip, right? You schedule that appointment with the broker or somebody in that office, then you schedule your plane ticket, right? And go to meet with the Realty One Group office there. Make sure you connect with people there. And that way you can make sure when you go visit, you can let your family and friends know, look, I'm not here, but I've got somebody to refer you to when you're ready to move, when you're ready to move out of that home and retire, or you're ready to move up to another property, call me, right? We have agents around the world, folks. We have opened offices. I was just, I mean, I don't know how many more offices we just opened around the world. It's crazy. And we have like 20 more planned to be opened in the next year. It is
Wow.
unbelievable. So please work on that. Obviously, friends and family, close relationships. Industry professionals talks about people like up above on that mortgage referrals, contractors. Then you can also do vendors, stagers, photographers, cleaners, landscapers, handymen. We are always being asked for handymen. All right. So let's talk a little bit about that golden goose. I know this is a funny term. I may figure out another one at some point, but it's a person who consistently refers a high volume of clients or generates a lot of business for you, right? So it's a referral source, broad term, anyone's providing this. Look, it can be a power connector. It can be, if you happen to know somebody that is a mover and shaker in another industry, connect with them, right? They're out there with people all the time. Influencer, yes, I know this term is heavily used online, but you know, if there is somebody you know of that makes a difference, who is it in your family that everybody calls when they're looking to buy a car, a computer, this or that? Who do they call? Who is the influencer in your network? Yes, you can do the online stuff. You're not going to get to the influencers out there. I'm talking about more local, more within your own community. Yes, there are super referrers out there, a client magnet. Maybe you ended up getting one of those clients that is just somebody that talks you up and you've connected with them. They've become a good friend. They start talking about, make sure after that deal, they don't drop off your charts. Keep talking to them. Make sure they get put into this category and you keep track of them. Another term, top advocate. I know this is just a lot. I'm going to get through these because I got to get back. A strategic partner, a gold mine, repeat client, lead generator, or a trusted advisor. Please try to think about this as you're working on your database, think about who these people are and whether or not any of them may end up being one of these potential golden goose or golden geese, whatever you want to call that. Now, I'm going to switch over to, I think, some categories that I think really, that's why I said RE 101, right? How do we really do this and how do you structure this? So I think in terms of real estate, most of you are going to be looking at client type labels, past client, active client, prospective client, and a referral source of how those clients are getting to you. How did they come to you, right? So those to me are the key labels that you're going to want to use with your database. Now, all of us are going to be purchasing, or you're going to be working with clients who are figuring they're either going to be purchasing or selling, right? Are they a hot lead, warm lead, cold lead, or somebody that you just need to nurture to try and build that relationship with? Those of you using databases, are these some of the things that you have in your database? Yes, no, yes.
Yes.
Okay, so Dave over here, yes. Okay, anybody online? Yes, no? I know somebody's using sync. Or any of these the categories you're using, the labels?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
A whole lot more because I also
Very
have a farm
similar.
and a block watch. So,
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's good to keep in touch with the block watch. That's just another category. All right. Now,
Right.
I told you guys I was going to give this to you to show a very simple version of this, right? This is a basic spreadsheet. I don't even have all those category names. I'm just giving you an idea, right? You've got first name, last name, email address, phone number. What is the lead status, right? Are they new? Have you contacted them? What have you done? And then the next follow-up date, what's the action that needs to happen? And then your notes. Now, it's fascinating if any of you guys work with Google a lot, and Google is not my primary, I'm a big Excel fan, but I'm doing this on a Google slide deck, right? That's what my presentation is. You can actually take a link from your Google Sheets and create a slide deck with slides for each of your clients. And you can hyperlink them back to your Google Sheets if you want to do that. You're going to have to go learn that on your own. But I was fascinated when I was reading through trying to how to link this, how to set this up, and found out that that link is an option that you can do that. Now, some of the things I think you can see lead status up there. Here are some ideas, right? Hot lead, warm lead, cold lead, nurture. They came from an open house. You might do that. And again, over on the other side, client type, whether past or active, buyer, seller, prospective, or a referral source. So just giving you some ideas. And then you can add color coding to this. So every time it says hot lead, it could have a color on there so it pops out on the screen. And then you're sorting for the follow-ups and you're going to be like, hey, wait a minute, I haven't touched this red. Why is this red way down here? That means I need to change that date and follow up sooner. So again, you can link to the Google slide for individual content and all your phone messages and stuff. Folks, this is free. You can do this. This is absolutely free. You can set it up and start working with it tomorrow. Now, you have a free CRM, but if you are too afraid to touch that, do a Google Sheet, do an Excel file, right? If nothing else, get started with the data entry with just the first name, last name, email address, phone number, right? And how you know them, even if it's not lead status, how you know them under a notes category. And then you can do a CSV file and move it over to the CRM. But sit down this holiday season, if you haven't sent your holiday cards out, go through your database and set up, go through your phone, download it to create at least those few, contact points of contact, contact information. I know there's a ton of data here, so I'm trying to go quickly. I'm going to stop here in just a minute to ask questions. Here are some ways you can label your client engagement, right? And again, these are just ideas. As you're getting more and more involved, there are more and more ways you can connect with people. For someone doing this for the first time, forget about this stuff. Just get the names down on a spreadsheet, okay? So I'm not going to read all of these, right? Referral partnership labels. Again, we kind of talked about those golden goose strategic partners. if you want to track that, make sure you've got a category to be able to track that so you can sort and be able to respond to these individuals differently, or have a way that when you look at them, you're like, ooh, wait, how am I working with these? How am I connecting with these people, right? I'm just trying to watch the time here. So another way you can categorize and work with your database. This is after you have your database up, folks. Again, beginners, stick to the bare basics, right? Geographic or market focused labels. If you are working a neighborhood, if you are marketing a specific neighborhood, you really need to have that category in there. If you go and you have a mailing database of 250 in a neighborhood, you need to have that categorized. So when it gets in with the rest of your stuff, you know where those people came from, right? You don't want to be working Aviano and have 250 people in Aviano dumped into your database and not be able to realize they're the ones in your farm. You've got to categorize those things. If you do an open house, I like to say, what was the address I met him at, right? What does that tell me if I put an address down from an open house?
That's the area.
That's the area they're possibly looking at. It might, remember this is a might, tell me what type of home they're looking for.
Right.
Might not, right? How many of us have been in $1 million listings and the people that walk in are looking for a $400,000 home? So again, I say might, but at least it gets me to the area of town, right? So if you've got a luxury market, maybe you're trying to email specifically and you've groomed a list for luxury market, you need to have those identified, right? So those are different categories. I don't think city works here as well because, as we know, Phoenix is massive, right? If I put Phoenix down, I better know if it's South Phoenix or North Phoenix, if it's Anthem, if it's, West Valley. Those Phoenix can have all those things. And you and I both know somebody looking at Anthem is not looking in West Phoenix, right? At 43rd Avenue and Van Buren. Somebody in Anthem is not looking at that same community, right? You've got to have a way to know that that's how you got those names on your database, right? If you've done something specific for that. Okay. Any questions while I try to stop from choking, and that way I'll get to this in just a second. Any other questions, folks? Can you guys hand her one of those sheets?
Yeah.
Online, any questions? Online? Nobody?
So I got a question. So
Yep.
you're using these as all categories or tags?
Depends on your database, how the database is set up. If you're just working off of an Excel spreadsheet, these would be other columns so that you can put certain things in. The column would be interest level or property type, right? That would be the header of the column, and then you would put these different things in below so you could sort by first-time home buyers, downsizers, move up, vacation home renters, right? So you would have a header and then you would have different things going down. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yep.
Okay. Depending on your CRM will depend on how many additional categories you can add in there or labels. So sometimes they're referred to as labels, sometimes categories. Let's see, we got some more here. So whoops, client relationship status. So I think this is an important one. The more you're working with your database is making sure that you are tracking where clients are in their process, right? Are they ready to move in the next 3 months? They're engaged, they're working, right? They need to find something. How many of you have talked to a client that says, my lease is up in 6 months, I'll talk to you, in 5 months? It's like, no. We need to talk in the next 2 months. By 3 months, we need to make sure you're pre-qualified. And by the 4th month, we're starting to look, right? And that has to be part of your conversation, right? Let's say somebody's dealing, I don't know how many of you are dealing with people that are dealing with their parents and dealing with maybe the death of a parent or moving their parents, and then their kids are doing different things. So they're in between, right? And you're talking to the person in between. All of a sudden something happens to their parents. They are on hold. They are not touching anything because they've got to go back and forth between Minnesota and Arizona 16 times in the next 2 months, right? You need to put on hold. They don't need to see or hear from you every week because they're in the middle of some serious family situation here. That's fine. You need to put them on hold because it's better than getting them to unresponsive, right? You need to know where they are and be able to be respectful of that and get back in touch with them. On hold doesn't mean you ignore them. It means you have a date set out there. Maybe it is 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and you say, hey, Dave, just want to check in with you. How are you doing? I know things have been a little crazy. Or you go onto their Facebook and find out their last 5 posts to find out what's going on, and just reach out with a soft touch. Just wanted you to know I was thinking of you, right? Please know I'm thinking about you. I'm here when you're ready. Don't want to bother you. That's an on hold, right? Know why they're putting it on hold temporarily. Unresponsive, I mean, that's a tough one, but you need to have that category so you know you've looked at them to see what they've been doing. Lost opportunity. We've all had these folks, somebody that decided to go with another agent or decided not to move forward. So you just need to know that that's occurred. All right. How about follow-ups? So what are the labels that you're going to use to make sure you take action, right? Dave, you said you have a database. What are the things that trigger you to make sure you take action this week?
So the first database I had was working pretty well. They changed the price. They moved over to the Realty One group.
Yep.
I have not been successful at getting that thing to work properly.
Have you seen the new format? So you've not been on in the next 2 weeks?
In the
Last 2 weeks?
Last 2 weeks, no.
Okay,
Not in the last.
I'll show you what the new format looks
Yeah,
like
that's
now.
what I was gonna ask at the end. I didn't bombard you with all these questions about our CRM in the middle of.
Yep. Well, there's training available. So I'm actually going to see, based on how this goes, I'm going to see whether we can get somebody in to come in and actually teach on there. There are videos in there, but with the new format, I don't know if any of them show that new formatting.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
From the one that I had.
yeah.
And I can't show you mine because it shows all of your stuff in mine.
Oh, wow.
And it's
Yeah, I
like,
did a
oh my
series of
gosh.
tests that included myself in there,
Mm.
see if it was working. I've never been able to.
Okay, we'll work on that. So follow-up and action labels, here are some things. Obviously, follow-up, make sure that you're working with them in a certain period of time, who you're contacting, meetings scheduled, right? Did you set up to meet with a buyer for an intro for your buyer presentation? How many of you are doing buyer presentations, right? Did you get that scheduled? Make sure that's on there, right? Offer made. Are you out looking for properties? If you've made an offer, that you change that to that. If they're under contract, you still need to be tracking these on your database, okay? Lead source labels. Again, this is a different column. If you want to have where these people came from you, this is something you put in and leave, but at least you know where they came from, and that way you can go back to it. It also helps if at the end of the year, when you're looking to see what has been successful, if you were farming a neighborhood, if you were doing some social media lead generation and things came through your social media or through open houses, gosh, at the end of the year, when you go back to look at the deals you closed, you should be looking at where these people came from. What worked, right? If all of a sudden you look at that list, you closed, I don't know, 10, 20 deals, and 12 of them came from one area, guess what you need to be focusing on? That area, right? It's working. So you need to know that, because if you're paying money out for marketing and stuff, and yet your 20 deals that you had, none of them came from any of that marketing material, your return on investment is not possibly working for you, right? So you need to make sure you're looking at that. Now, you can do custom tags. Let's say you do a spring campaign. You target a specific area. You want to know that your marketing dollars went towards that, and this is the data you got out of it. Again, at year end, you want to see when you close deals, where did they come from? Oh, all of a sudden, a whole bunch of them a year from now are coming from that spring campaign you did a year ago. Oh, maybe we should run another one of those, right? Got to be able to track the data. The whole idea of a CRM, well, two things. One is to be able to communicate and connect with people, but the second is to be able to track to see what you're doing marketing wise that's actually successful. And I don't think people realize that. So if you don't have these different labels, it's hard to know whether these things are successful or not, right? You can also do priority importance labels, right? So client leads that need urgent attention. Some of it might need a little bit, but not immediately. And then others that don't require immediate attention at all. So, all right. So key tips for using CRM labeling. Here is the bottom line. Number one, consistency is key. If you can get your database so that you are opening it daily, you start your day off by opening it up, or you end your evening by opening your database to see what you need to be doing tomorrow, consistency is key. Make sure you're using labels that you can go back to and track. Use multiple labels. Yes, you may have somebody that you met in an open house. They're also a first-time home buyer, and you want to make sure you have both of those labels so you can see the variables there, right? Now, if your CRM will automate some of this labeling stuff, that makes it a lot easier, right? Update regularly. You've got to be using your CRM. So if all these labeling ideas are overwhelming to you, put them to the side. Again, just focus on your database. Now, I'm going to talk about automate follow-ups and communication. This is with using an actual CRM, whether that is, hold on, I had a whole bunch of names of companies. Is that here? So I'll talk about the different names, but if you have, Wise Agent, Sync, Top Producer, any of these, they have systems in them that allow you to set reminders to follow up with leads and clients based on timelines that are set when you're working through these CRMs. Our own sync system, our own OneSuite has an email drip campaign so you can nurture long-term leads. There are a ton of things that you can put into place, including a whole set of letters that can go out over the entire first year of working with a client, right? You can use task reminders to make sure that you're hitting milestones, right? Following up after a showing, a birthday reminder, maybe it's a holiday anniversary after they moved in. You can set the CRM to trigger you for future things after you've put somebody in a home or after somebody has sold a home.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Effective, yeah, right now, I use my calendar, just keeping an eye on my calendar, sending out, the card for happy home anniversary.
So Dave's saying that he's using a calendar.
Not a good way to do it.
Well, no, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I ran into a glitch here. How many of you were on Cox.net? So on Cox.net, we got dumped onto Yahoo, and guess what I lost? The calendar did not transfer over.
No.
So I went into Cox and I printed out 3 years of calendars and a year and a half to the future because I had things set up
Sure.
to do things in the future. Now it's sitting to the side of my computer because guess what? It's on paper and I have yet to put that back into a calendar. So if you're using a calendar, just keep that in mind. Yes, it is an option. You can do that. Again, automate it. Make sure it's sitting with reminders that actually alarm. If you've got it in your calendar on your computer, you can set those to have alarms and make sure to alert you. So these are other things with CRMs. I'm not going to go into these. I started looking at CRMs. I could do probably a 6-hour class on CRMs. I could not put that into 1 hour today. I think I've done pretty well to do this in 45 minutes so far. I still have a little bit to go, But these are some things you can use your CRM for, right? Track your communication history, prioritize your leads based on their engagement, create and use customizable marketing campaigns. There is so much on our CRM that we have available to you that you can do for marketing. Make sure you're going to your CRM and cleaning it up and making it up to date. If you have clients that have passed away, make sure those addresses are being shut down, or that you're changing the names on your database. I had somebody's husband die and they still got the emails with both names. So please, please remember to go in and clean up your databases. Use your analytics and report to track your progress, especially on your marketing. What is working, what isn't. Leveraging your CRM for relationship building and referrals. Now, this is a promo for OneSuite. Streamline your business. This is actually from our new OneSuite. This is the box that comes up. If you have not seen this page, it's telling me you have not been on OneSuite in the last few weeks. Okay. This is the real estate CRM software for Realty One Group. It is the OneSuite and it is a new look. If you look over to the side, that's what it looks like now. They've enhanced and made it more user-friendly interface. They have agent widgets on the home page, updated contact and lead contact card views and tools. It has now a new AI content generator, and you can click play for a walkthrough. I don't have that set up. I can go on to it in a few minutes. We want to look at that. This is the OneSuite. If you do not know, it is both a CRM system and website creation and management. And for those that don't know, it also has connections to your open house registrations that go directly into the CRM system. So somebody registering at the open house goes right into your CRM. If you have the website hooked up, somebody goes on and logs into your website and puts their data in there. It goes directly into your CRM. So it's all interactive, folks. So very, very important that you are aware of that. Final notes I would say is that you need to organize and prioritize your database so you will use it. I don't care if you're downloading it from your phone, just get it onto a database so you can see it. You can use your phone, but it means that, and this is the hard one, right? Because if I look at my thing, I have on my phones, can I even tell how many people I have on here? I don't think I can. I don't know where I can, but I don't know how to tell. I have something like 2,000 names in here. But one of the things you can do is you can go alpha sort. And if you're going to do your phone, then you need to pick A's and B's for, you have to figure out how many names, figure out how many you need to deal with each and every week. So you go through your phone and actually go through every single one of those and delete them. If you're not going to use them, get rid of them. If that's going to be your database, start working it. Just something you'll use. Okay. Excel, Google Sheets, a database, a CRM, Wise Agent, Sync, HubSpot, etc. These are all options. Choose one, right? If you get a CRM, you can use it for the automation, personalized communication to increase your client engagement. Obviously, Excel and Google Sheets aren't actually the CRM, but you can use them to connect with your client base. Track and measure your success to optimize your strategies and grow your business, right? What is working, and use it to continue to increase that. Here's my request to you. Find any system, whatever you will use, and use it in 2025. Just do it. It will make a world of difference to you, okay? Now, I have gotten to 10:50. I'm going to escape from here and let's see if I can go on here. You guys still seeing my screen, right? Hopefully online, you're still seeing the screen.
Yes.
Let's see if this will give this, and I'm going to try to run this video. Oh, did it go away? Hold on. No, it did not. Okay. Let's see if I can play this video. Haha. Oh. This is not, I don't know that this will work. Well, okay, let's try to see if this will go. I don't know if that'll go that way. I just was trying to play the video. That's what I wanted.
Welcome to the new and
Can you guys hear that online?
We're excited to
Yes.
introduce you to
Yes,
Okay,
the SOI platform featuring a modern design and user-friendly interface. Let's take a quick tour of the updated layout. You'll now be greeted by a new welcome widget, which will alert you of your contacts and leads, birthdays, and home anniversaries. It also keeps track of your pending tabs.
you.
Oh,
Stay informed with company
You hear?
updates and new features
There.
via banners that link to helpful articles and videos. Just below, you'll find the My Contacts at a Glance section showcasing agent business data, which is collected from your client tracking dashboard. For an example, you can view the number of contacts who recently interacted with a report you sent, upcoming tasks in the next 7 days, contacts added in the last 30 days, and so on. If you click on the client tracking dashboard, you'll be redirected to your client tracking dashboard. In the top right corner, click the drop-down arrow to access your profile settings, where you can review your contact information that's been collected from Zone, check to see if your agent MLS ID is on file, update and customize your bio, select additional spoken languages, and update your email signature on file, and so much more. At the top of the screen, you'll see a search bar for quickly locating contacts, contact activities, or search for specific properties. All tools are now conveniently located on the left side collapsible menu. So if you click on that arrow, you can hide or click the arrow to display those menu items again. From contacts and leads, you'll have a list of drop-down items. Here, you can select contacts and leads once more to access your contacts directory, create groups for your contacts, email for client communication, send marketing emails to track drip campaigns and marketing emails, contact import export for uploading your contacts list or exporting your contacts list from CRM, and your client tracking dashboard. Calendar will give you access to create appointments or update your calendar. Under the Listings tab, you'll find Property Search for your IDX property searches, My Saved Searches, and Historical Solds to create sold records that will display on your agent website. Promote Your Listings will take you to your dashboard, previously known as Ready Promo. Your active listings will appear in this module, and a drop-down list of marketing tools will appear to help promote your listing. In the Client Reports menu tab, you can create specific reports for clients such as Property Exposure Report, Listing Alert, Property Detail Report, Market Report, and report settings to tailor those outgoing reports. Drip Campaign Center. Here you can create drip campaign letters for mass marketing emails, create automated drip campaigns, and manage campaign tags. Open house registration is your lead capture form when hosting open houses. When you click My Website, you will have access to your website editor, as well as My Communities, to create and manage community pages that will populate on your website. Our resource section will have Content Creator, which is your AI content generator. Training resources, paid professional services to shop our online store if you're interested in working with a professional to customize your website or run CRM-related tasks. Our One Support to contact our amazing help desk team when you need assistance. Finally, the Partners menu tab offers access to additional partners and tools such as Realforce, Boost, List Track, Creative Studio, and much more. I hope this overview was helpful as you continue to navigate our OneSuite platform. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
Hey, folks.
Did they, update any of the content that gets campaign newsletters content?
I have no idea.
Okay.
But the fact that you can access the Creative Studio, you would be able to edit that yourself and change any of that if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So, Jan, I believe you've used the CRM. Are you on there? Oops.
I have not, I've minimally used the CRM, but I'm getting everything installed into it to use it more heavily this year.
Okay.
'Cause I literally have thousands of connections and I'm having trouble getting it to recognize them all.
Gotcha. I'm going to stop recording here for those online. And don't forget that if you need a copy of this report, you can just send a note requesting the CRM Tuesday training and tactics to Paradise Valley at realty1group.com. Let me stop that recording and then